Isaiah chapter 2, January 6, 2018. Glory to the Lamb of God. Bless you, Jesus. Welcome to this meal, our Savior. Taste and see that the Lord is good.
Praise you, Jesus. Glory.
Father, may we minister unto you from your word, from one you love in your word, from one who, those who love you, Jody and I. Bless you, Jesus.
Praise you, Lord.
Glory to the Lamb.
Blessed Sabbath day, everyone.
Yes.
Blessed Sabbath day, Lord.
The word that Isaiah, the son of Amoz, saw concerning Judah and Jerusalem. And it shall come to pass in the last days that the mountain of the Lord's house shall be established in the top of the mountains, and shall be exalted above the hills, and all nations shall flow unto it. Now here he's talking about truth. In the last days, yep, truth being revealed. Because of the fullness of time, God only reveals certain things, and when he wants to reveal them, after his good pleasure, in the fullness of time. Gives us snippets in his word, here and there, to understand. Seeing as the prophets told, he told them when the time was at hand for things to come to be. He also gave us and them functions, active revealings of his word and prophecy to the prophets and to us in this day, in this generation.
To those who are born again and maintain it.
Yep, in this new century, in this new decade, in this new millennium, 2018, that's the date today. In the fullness of time, as we read in Revelation, the 1,203 score days, revealing to us that in that 1,000 year, that millennial plane of time, that there was to be fullness of time, a revealing coming, a follow through of God's word. And the reason I bring that forth is because those, like we discussed in that other video, Revelations, the full package. The 1,000. I reiterate that 1,000 year, that millennium that was to come, is followed up by the 200 days or 200 years. You understand, in the prophetic timeline of things, a day equals a year, or 100 years, or 1,000 years. Millennium. There you go. E-N-I-U. Anyway, so 200 days is 200 years. We understand as America. Otherwise, why would it be put forth? Because it's the new world. Anybody that understands history books from the 60s, 70s, and 80s understands that the United States is the new world. What they call him, Christopher Columbus discovered the new world. Okay? Well, this new world order, I'm not going to get lost in that, but I mean, that's what it is. This is the new world. States. That's why he had 200 days or 200 years put in there. So you understand, this is the time when we'd be discovering these things. But to follow that up, the 3 days, and not to get too far flung from that, credit scores, Experian, Equifax, and TransUnion credit scores. Why is this so important to understand? Because if you don't understand what he's talking about, and allow yourself to get lost in the idiom of man's knowledge. Oh, 8,203 days, that's 1,260 days. If you want to keep it in that, I guess, whatever. But the fullness of the understanding here is the 1,000 that is to come, followed by the 200 years. The millennium with the 200-year epic time span denoted there means that it's going to be, okay, in 1776 we were established as a country, officially. Apart from the rest of the nations and countries in the world, we became the United States of America. Okay, the second, the bicentennial celebration that we all understood and celebrated, well, those of us that are old enough to understand it, lived through it, set 1976 was the bicentennial, the 200th year of our existence as a country, a nation, the United States of America. Okay. So, we got that, we got the millennium, which was to come, which was the year 2000, which came after the 200-year bicentennial of the United States. Well, what's this 3 days? Okay, the 3 scores, Equifax, TransUnion, and what's that other one? Equifax, whatever. Anyway, those 3 credit scores came to be right around the 70s, maybe 80s, I don't know what it was. But the credit score days is important to understand where this fulfillment of time was to come. Anyway, it's just to put you in a time zone here, okay? So it was after the year 2000. It was after the 200th bicentennial of the United States, and it was after the 3 credit score days that we understand that the fullness of time was to come of His Word, of the prophecies, of the end time prophecies.
And that's what we live today.
Yeah.
The 3 credit score days.
Yes.
That's from the globalism.
Yeah, Experian. That's Experilon. Boy, a lot of work. There you go. So, scroll up just work, please. You don't know that. Okay. Just verse 2, there you go. It shall come to pass in the last days. I just got done revealing that to you. These are the last days, as per what is stated in the book of Revelation.
Mm-hmm.
That the mountain of the Lord's house shall be established. Okay, the mountain of the Lord's house is the fulfillment of time. And the revealing of these things that are coming to pass. They're going to happen. Some already have, other things are still on the back burner, but they're coming. Okay, that's the mountain of the Lord's house, the fulfillment of time. So, that the mountain of the Lord's house shall be established in the top of the mountains. Okay, mountains here are messages, thoughts, has been around, it's always been the haves versus the have-nots. Which in its own right is very heinously shameful. That's the way they've played it for millennia, plural. That's okay. I mean, yeah.
Now, aren't they also for the soul?
Yeah.
The soul?
Yeah, exactly.
Are the soul.
Yeah, the soul is the top of the heap.
Right. But the message in between that they're teaching all over the world, that's the ones from the world.
That's from the world, and that's what Saul entailed in the personality, which has ruled and reigned upon within man since time began.
And that's what Jesus says to overcome.
Right.
All your thoughts.
That's the world. To overcome the world, that's the personality. You got to overcome your personality because there's a war going on between the personality and the soul. And if the personality wins that war, you've not overcome the world. You're stuck in the world. And you're still part of the world. Like he says, Paul wrote, to be in the world but not of it. If you're of the world, it means you allowed your personality to win that war over the soul. The soul rules and reigns, or should, because the soul longs to know the truth 24/7, 365 without fail.
Great is that way. So you believe what we're saying as truth because that's what your soul is doing. But your personality is warring against that and saying, "Oh no, that's not." I can't grasp that because it's not right what we've been taught. It's not what man says. It's not what we've been taught. It's not what I've been grown up with. I have been raised with. Yeah. It's against that. So how can that be true?
Yeah. So here he's stating, it shall come to pass in the last days that the mountain of the Lord's house, the fulfillment of time, the messages and thoughts, ideas, and visions, social events, it's the top of the mountains, okay, is the soul. Because personality is all these little mountains and molehills that we've invented in our own hearts and minds.
Thanks to man.
Yeah, exactly. Man's tradition.
Because man didn't want to hear what God had to say.
Right.
They wanted to hear what Moses had to say at the time, at the beginning.
And this is why we elaborate on this so heavily, is because the next few words, I go back to, shall be established in the top of the mountains and shall be exalted above the hills. Okay, you got the mountains and the hills, mole hills. Okay, that's all dealing with the personality. And all nations shall flow unto it. Okay, the nations of your thought life shall flow unto it. In other words, no matter what you think you might believe or know, understand, your intelligence, which is all it's all going to be brought to nothing because God rules and reigns.
Yeah, and it's foolishness to God. Our intellect, our knowledge, our human understanding is foolishness to God. He puts that out in scriptures.
So everything that we've ever known shall flow unto it. In other words, everything's going to be flowing onto the truth. Because the mountain of the Lord's house is also the truth. The truth shall never be compromised. So truth and the soul, because the soul agrees with truth 100%.
Yeah, it does. Everyone's soul does.
Yeah.
That's your whole centrality of all you are inside you.
Yep. So,
except for your personality.
When it comes to flowing unto it, all nations shall flow unto it, and thought life shall flow unto the truth, but will it get it?
Yeah.
We'll see what he says about that here just shortly in the next couple of verses. There you go. But will they get the truth or not? Exactly right.
Anyway, I can do that later.
Yep. Okay. Verse 3. And many people shall go and say, oh yeah, door knockers, they think they're, what do they call it, canvassing, going door to door, saying, know the Lord, and come to our church, and, drink
baby.
Many people shall go and say, come, you, and let us go up to the mountain of the Lord, to the house of the God of Jacob, and he will teach us of his ways, and we will walk in his paths. For out of Zion shall go forth the law and the word of the Lord from Jerusalem. And now Jerusalem, for one, is the soul. And for two, is the truth. Soul and truth.
Not just enough.
Yeah. So is Zion. Zion, Jerusalem, Zoe, Z-O-E, all three means the soul. There's only one place that Zoe is even mentioned in the entire word. If you went to your simple searches and type in Zoe, back to this. So Zoe is in there, you gotta find it. But anyway, it's the soul. Zion, Zoe, soul. Jerusalem, soul, truth. That is the mountain of the Lord. To the house of Jacob, to the original, the fulfillment of the promise of faith, which was given to Abraham. Abraham believed God, and it was accounted unto him for righteousness. Not his own, either, for God's righteousness, through faith.
Yep.
And it's true. And he will teach us of his ways, not anybody else. God will teach you his own way of his own ways.
And he does.
Yep. And we will walk in his paths. If you get it, yes, you will walk in his paths. For out of Zion, the soul, shall go forth the law and the word of the Lord. Out of the soul. You get it in you. Like Jesus says, learn of me.
Mm-hmm. It's the only way to get through.
Yeah.
You can't get it through everybody else's teachings or anybody else's teachings for that matter.
Mm-hmm. So back to this in the last days. They're not teaching it in their churches. They never have.
No, they don't know it.
They beat around the bush. They dance around it in all sorts of different ways, but it's only because they don't know. If they did, they would be
teaching it.
They would be teaching it.
They'd be living it and teaching it.
Yep.
As we do. And we're not bragging. We're just telling you what God does through a person who actually does what he says. If you obey him, his every word, Jesus' every word, that is when he will work through you.
Yeah, like Jesus said.
Work in you.
Even he told his own disciples, look, how long have I been with you? If you've seen me, you've seen the Father.
And they told it then.
Yeah, if you believe me, you believe the Father. If you believe the Father, you believe in me also. That's what he says, basically. Paraphrase, but,
he does.
Verse 4, Isaiah chapter 2. And he shall judge among the nations, and shall rebuke many people. Rebuke, as in, Hosea, all this other seditious traditions of men. He's rebuking them. You look at the people on the televangelicalism, whatever, that many of them are falling. They're falling hard. Why? Because that is God's rebuke upon them.
Not only that, but they're rebuking him. That's why.
Well, yeah, exactly.
They're rebuking him by teaching their traditional teaching.
And then that.
And adding holidays to it.
Right. So in that, we see that they have denied the Lord God and the Lord Jesus Christ. He says, if you deny me before men, I shall deny you before my Father and his holy angels. He meant what he said what he meant. And he's doing it. Because we're seeing it now. I'm not going to list them or name them. Everybody knows who they are. And even the broadcast network, and that's as close as I'm getting to that. But they are for their
falsehood that they're in, and
yeah, and their shoddiness and their fornications and fornications. You know, he shall judge among the nations, and shall rebuke many people from all walks of life, all religions, everything. You know, even the other so-called belief systems and faiths and whatever else you want to call it. He's rebuked them. And they shall beat their swords into plowshares. In other words, they're going to stop creating war and thinking war. They're just going to get busy. Beat their swords into plowshares and start plowing the ground. They're going to stop thinking. Their swords are their minds. There's, all their stuff in their head, their personalities will finally give up the ghost and say, hey, wait a minute. There's something going on here that's bigger and deeper than I am, we are, whatever. And they're going to finally buckle down and knuckle to it. Eventually, so those that get it will beat their swords, their war machines, and thinking.
Give up the ghost
of their personality.
Oh, okay. So that's what he says, deny yourself. Right. He says deny yourself because he wants us to deny our own personality. That is what denying ourselves is.
Yeah, so they're going to beat their swords into plowshares. In other words, they're not going to think war anymore. They're going to start learning because they're missing something. What do these religions teach? In the behind-the-scenes methods and modes, war. Because all they preach and teach settles deadly against the personality, because the personality is just sitting there, hey, that ain't right, man. Come on, man, you're telling me that I have to suck up, roll over, play dead, and take a number to the man, the government, cops, and all this other stuff, and it's just rebellion. Truth causes rebellion if you're not properly taught. That's it. That's the bottom line right there. So they rebel. Same as Israel did back in the day and turned themselves into Jews.
Rebellion is as the witch is.
Exactly right.
Rebellion comes from the spirit of the witch. And that's what God said to Moses. He said, do not let the witch live. The spirit of the witch. And they did through all their sins.
So, like it says in Leviticus, you don't have sex with animals. That is confusion. Look it up. I'm not telling you where it is. You know darn good and well, you know the truth. And the truth shall set you free. So look it up. Get off your fat and lackadaisical and look it up because it's there.
It'll set you free from your thoughts, from your denial and your personality.
Plus, he also spoke on that wise when it came to interracial marriage. Even if you're the same race, if you come from a different country, don't go to somebody else that's historically from another country, from your own, because that is confusion. So we see all these other entities and brood beasts out there just, thumping their chest like whatever, like the animals that they are. That's all it is. It's rebellion, and that's why they do it. Because the truth is out there. Truth shall not be compromised. That's all they're trying to do. But they cannot compromise the truth. So they turn the truth into a lie and start propagating that.
That's what they'd always say. That's a lie, too.
So they shall beat their swords into plowshares and their spears into pruning hooks. Swords and spears is what you war with. You look at people with your spear eyes. You kill them with the sword of your mind. Come on now. If you're real about it, honest, your soul agrees to it. It's your personality that's rebelling. No, I'm going to shut this off. Oh, forget you, bud. Well, no, actually, God's saying, forget you, because that's what he says. And he shall judge among the nations and shall rebuke many. Boom, you're just in rebuke right there. You can just wander on and shut this off and go your merry way and stay in your rebellion, or you can pull your head out of your gash and actually step up to the plate of God and own up to your faults. Your own, not everybody else. Judge yourself. Righteous judgment, that's it, period. You rightly judge your own self pertaining to his truths. If you ain't there, then that's where you are. You had better wake up, smell a copy, open that book, and get into it. Because here he says right after that, nation shall not lift up sword shall they learn war anymore. Now, this is on for everybody that's into man-made religion. That's what they well, neither shall they learn war anymore. That means worldwide there's going to be world peace. He said it. They propagate and profess peace. Peace! When there is no peace.
Yeah, he didn't come to bring peace. He came to bring a sword.
Yeah.
And the sword of the Spirit is what he's talking about.
Yeah.
It's true.
Yeah.
They didn't want it.
Yeah, to worship him in spirit and in truth.
Yeah, that's the only way you can. You're
right.
born again and maintaining it. 24/7 as commanded. It's a commandment, people. It's not just a suggestion.
Absolutely.
It's a commandment. It must be done or else the hell and the lake of fire await. Because that's what he says. And we go by what he says, not by Paul, Peter, and everybody else. We go by what Jesus said because he's the only one that went to
The cross,
death, and went into the lowest pit of hell in Psalm 88, the land of forgetfulness, to redeem our innocence so we can be born again.
Yeah.
But you can't have it until you have earned it. You have to be worthy by sitting there and study. Seek him. Seek all he is. No matter what you have to do in life, seek all he is. Deny your rebellion, deny your denial
that's right.
of the truth and get into it. Say, I'm not going to have this anymore. I want truth. And you'll get it, he said. He promises.
Absolutely. Now, you mentioned the word innocence. Now, innocence is, I'm rebelling against that word innocence because, it's not written in the Bible. That's not how I read it. That's not how my preacher or teacher or whatever, and all these other people, they never speak it. Well, that's because they don't know.
Yeah, truth is innocence.
You can't give away what you do not own. I don't own my innocence. Jesus redeemed my innocence from the lowest pit of hell. I woke up and realized it, and I reclaimed my innocence in Jesus' name. So did my wife. And so can you.
Everybody can.
Just how simple it is. Just raise your hand up to heaven and say, in Jesus' name, I reclaim my innocence. And hold on to that because that is your confidence. That's your starting point.
That is how you get into the kingdom of heaven. You believe it as truth because Jesus spoke it.
What is the faith of a little child but innocent?
Yeah, it is. That's why a child will never be in hell. A child with innocence will never be in hell. But a child that sinned and then died because they refused to do the right thing and actually get born again and be maintaining it, they ended up in hell.
Because they were never enlightened.
They never cared about the truth.
Yeah, or they were never enlightened to the truth, and they didn't know any better. It's just by that alone that God might have mercy on them that don't know.
But who would want to take that chance?
Exactly right.
Who would want to take that chance on? I couldn't do it. No way I could do it.
Verse 5, O house of Jacob, come you and let us walk in the light of the Lord. God is always pleading with people. Please. O house of Jacob, he's pleading with you. Please. Oh, house of Jacob, come you, come here. Yeah. Let us, him, and you. The Lord God Almighty and you, your soul, all that you are, your intelligence, everything else, both pack it together, get it straight, and walk in the light of the Lord. He's pleading with you.
Yes.
Is that love? Is that worthiness? Not worthlessness, but worthiness. You are worthy to step up to the plate and honor him with all that you are.
You must.
Yeah.
Actually, you must.
Exactly right. You have to. Because otherwise,
you have no choice.
Yeah. You want to keep playing the devil's advocate, beating around the bush and all this other stuff, dancing around the truth.
Like the churches teach, and the TV vandals and the radio vandals and everybody else that evangelizes and everything else that are teaching the OSAS and all the other religions.
Yes. That's why he screams to the top of the mountains, come out from her. You separate.
Her, the worldly system.
Yeah.
The system.
The man-made seditious traditions of men.
It's a belief system. Get out of it. Be born
innocence, without being born again, that's the starting point of anyone. Jesus told him, you must be born again. Peter reverberated, you must be born again.
He was given the keys.
Yeah. Verse 6, therefore, you have forsaken your people, the house of Jacob, because they replenished from the east.
That means they
are soothsayers like the Philistines, and they please themselves in the children of strangers. Oh, there you go, right there. What's the word? Starts with an M. Come on, everybody. Class participation. Molesters, right? Just like their father, the devil.
Yeah.
Satan. He molested Adam and Eve in the garden. That's all it was. They ate of the fruit of the knowledge. The fruit of the tree of good and evil was the knowledge. They ate of that knowledge, and which was the perversion, the molestation. Satan appeared to them as an angel of, well, I'm not going to go there, but I mean, all you got to do is, anybody that's had any kind of perversion in their mind, any time along within the course of your entire life, you understand what I'm talking about. Just dig deep. It ain't that far in your past, people.
Read Jesus' words and you'll know what perversion isn't. You have to be thinking along those lines 24/7 of Jesus' words, because those are pure. Those are the words from the Heavenly Father. He gave him and the Holy Spirit what to speak.
Yeah, because in one place it says, to the pure, all things are pure. Like Paul writes, all things are given unto me, but not all things are prudent. In other words, not all things are acceptable, not even in the face of the world. Okay? We see there, molestation. Molesters. They're not acceptable persons in this life as we know it on planet Earth, anywhere in the world. But they're trying to change that. Look what they did and still trying to do out in California.
Yeah, not only that, but let's remember something. Jesus said something about if you look on a woman or whatever and lust after them for sex. Well, look what you're doing with the molestation in your mind. There you go. You can't even molest in your mind.
Not with your thoughts.
Not fornicate, not commit adultery or anything, because you are guilty of that sin if you even have it in your mind. So you people who think because you don't go out and do those bad things anymore, you're safe. Well, you're not. You're still thinking in your mind. That's the sin.
That's the lie of the man-made church.
Yes.
Oh, you got to do it to be guilty of it. No. All you got to do is think about it.
That's right.
That's what Jesus said. Who are you going to believe, Jesus or some highfalutin person behind a pulpit?
That's right. And they're only ordained by man. They ain't even ordained by God. Nope. Why do you listen to them?
The college degree.
Why do you read their books or anything?
Yeah.
They're molesters of your own soul.
Just like the Philistines.
Yes.
Yep.
They're molesting everything and everyone in their minds.
So
if they're going to molest your soul, they're going to molest you in your...
So here, right here, you put, actually, therefore you have forsaken your people. You, Israel, have forsaken your own people. The house of Jacob, you've forsaken them, Israel, because they replenished from the east. And they are soothsayers like the Philistines. They had been replenished from the east. Anywhere apart from the land of Israel, the original land of Israel, that should have gone from the coast of the Mediterranean all the way over to the great river Euphrates, which is in Iran and Iraq, all the way south to the of Arabia, Arabian Sea, that's where their property lines were. Don't give me crap about whatever because of what man's called it, because I'm going by what God has said. And even though everything that I said isn't exactly right, okay, about the property lines, that's just room for someone out there or anyone to make an argument just for the sake of arguing. That's because they replenish from the east. Arguments, soothsayers, trying to bring up all sorts of different ideological things, facts, figures, systematic stuff. Sorry.
Read that.
This is not just for Israelis. It's for every person alive.
Yep.
We're born and raised on the earth, and it's evil belief system.
Yeah, that is for I think it's for everyone too. It's not just for Israelis or the Jews. It is for every single person that He ever created.
Yeah. So, therefore, you have forsaken your people, the house of Jacob. Israel had forsaken their own people, even within their own minds. They'd forsaken themselves. Meaning, they did not want to know the truths of God. That's why they told Moses, or to tell God, hey, can you please tell this big guy up here to be quiet? Well, listen to you, Moses. But man, this guy, he talks and it just, whoa, They didn't even understand what they were talking about to even explain it to Moses why they didn't want to hear God's voice. Because it was shuddering their soul. Shuddering their soul. I mean, shiver me timbers, as they say. Yeah. It was rocking their socks off. Literally. Okay. So, now back to the word. And because they're soothsayers like Philistines. And they please themselves.
Yeah, losses.
Well, yeah, not only that, but they're just, it's all about me-ism. We'll have it my way, your way, whatever. The whole world is at ease, it says in there.
Yeah, it does.
Is that Ezekiel?
I'm not sure.
It's in there. They'll find it.
So,
verse 7, chapter 2, Isaiah, chapter 2, verse 7. Their land also is full of silver and gold. Neither is there any end of their treasures. Their land is also full of horses. Neither is there any end of their chariots. Okay, now breaking this down. Their land also is full of silver and gold.
Who are they to buy?
Ideas. And thoughts. Grandiose thoughts. Neither is there any end of their treasures. Yeah, there you go. Thoughts.
Oh, what about they sell and go too? They're to buy.
Yeah,
etc.
right. Yeah. Yeah, it's all a money thing.
Yeah, I know.
For the love of money is the root of all evil. Their land is also full of horses. Now, what is a horse but something to be ridden on? Or a workhorse, something that you put to labor for you, okay? Yet, so too with man's works within their mind. Neither is there any end of their chariots. The message is, okay, a horse. A person gets on a horse, they ride it, okay? The horse is doing the work for them, okay? That's the working of their mind. Neither is there any end of their chariots, their messages. What carries a message but a chariot? You got a person on a horse, they got a message. They could ride all the way there, and, or they could just, take a letter, put a stamp on it, stab a knife through the letter and stick it to the side of the chariot and put the horse in the butt and send the horse and chariot off to wherever, and eventually the horse will go wherever, and whoever sees the chariot and subdues it gets the message. You're like, what? See, you've confused me. You're talking a totally different doctrine here. Well, actually, what I'm speaking here is an analogy which you all talk about anyway. You bring it up, make it up as you go anyway. I don't want to hear this stuff, really. Just arguing for the sake of argument. And
you got to remember, too, that he warns us about learning spiritual truth, too.
Yep.
His spiritual truths are what we have to learn as well.
Right. So you put
just because it isn't in Scripture doesn't mean it's not truth.
Right. So you put things in an analogy. I mean, really. Well, I don't do that. Oh, really? How about your stories about what's it? Bob and Ted and Carol and Alice and whatever. They tell stories about that. They just go on and on about all sorts of things, fishing trips, things that their people, their missionaries are doing, their work of the missionaries doing their work over and wherever. And it's like, really, it's all about man.
Man's praises.
We're doing such a good job in Zimbabwe and, whatever. Well, verse 8, their land also is full of idols. Oh, gee, how do you figure that? Their land. Their land here is not only their physical,
their mental,
but their psychological. They worship the work of their own hands. Well, that's not talking about me or our church. That's talking about those people, those sinful people. Oh, well, who is that? Who's he talking to here? You scroll up a little bit. One more. Verse 6. You have forsaken your people. You, Israel, have forsaken your people, Israelites, your own people, your children.
Mm-hmm.
And forsaken does.
And that's eventually why God divorced them.
Yep.
They called themselves Jews after that.
Yep.
They didn't want nothing to do with Israel.
Oh.
Not a damn thing.
So their land is full of idols. Their minds and all there is to a land. They worship the work of their own hands. That which their own fingers have made. And what do your fingers make? Oh, gee, wow.
Little trinkets,
hand puppets, and everything else.
And dildos, because we gotta admit, what do you think sex does? It sells. Yeah. It sells all over the world.
Yeah. What do you do with your hands and your fingers?
Give me a break.
I could get graphic, but I'm not going to.
I didn't mean to get graphic. I just wanted to let them know what I'm talking about, because truth needs to be spoken.
To put it into the literal. Okay, he's talking about sex.
Yeah, he is.
He's talking about the things you make, of course, but they're idealistic.
Mm-hmm.
Idealistic and idolistic. The works of your own hands, the things that your fingers have made, and the mean man bows down. A man of means, a rich man, and the great man humbles himself. Therefore, forgive them not. Why? We look at the Pharisees and Sadducees, even in this day, the spirits of the Sadducees and Pharisees, that works, Pharisees and Sadducees. Those spirits are still alive in man's church today. They've always been alive. Why? Because that's all they know. Because that was spurred on by the spirit of the witch and Jezebel. Nicolaitans, all that stuff. It's in Revelation. Look that up, y'all. If you use the discernment that God holds out for you to use and utilize,
You can too.
Yeah.
We're no different than you.
Yep.
We're no better than you. We just know more than you do because he gives it to us, not man anymore.
So here it is. It's spelled out exquisitely in verse 10. Enter into the rock and hide you in the dust for fear of the Lord and for the glory of his majesty. Enter into the rock. Jesus is the rock of our salvation. Hide you in the dust. The dust. From dust to dust, okay? So, in the rock is the truth. And in the dust is the messages. The true messages. True messages. For the fear of the Lord. Because for the fear of the Lord is the beginning. And for the glory of his majesty, which is truth.
That's her.
Yeah, she wants to be tucked in.
I help her. I'm coming, baby.
Yeah. So the glory of his majesty is truth.
Just hit that as safe, please.
I certainly will.
Thank you.
Pausing for a second. I get it. Verse 11. The lofty looks of man shall be humbled, and the haughtiness of men shall be bowed down, and the Lord alone shall be exalted in that day. You talk about after all is gone, and we're before the Lord of glory on Judgment Day.
Every one of us.
Everybody.
Mm-hmm.
The lofty looks of man shall be humbled, and the haughtiness of men shall be bowed down. Every knee shall bow, and every tongue confess that Jesus Christ is Lord.
Oh,
There it says, and the Lord alone shall be exalted in that day. So, where's the difference? Where's the cutoff point between in that day and in that day? Discernment speaks loudly. If a person so seeks to gain wisdom and entertain discernment and wisdom, read Proverbs chapters 1 through 11. It speaks greatly about wisdom. All those chapters, 11 chapters, and don't hurry through them. Because it helps you understand the differentials between when he's talking about in that day, and then in that day, and then the day of the Lord, which is coming up next. It helps you understand the difference of the time to come when these things are going to be revealed, and in the time to come when all things are gone.
Yeah, it has to be first because it said that he alone will be exalted, no other person. So they got to be gone.
Yeah.
Because so many people are exalted nowadays.
Yeah, because Satan is going to be cast into the lake of fire.
Mm-hmm.
With the Antichrist and the false prophet. This is verse 12. For the day of the Lord of hosts shall be upon everyone that is proud and lofty, and upon everyone that is lifted up. And he, the person, shall be brought low.
Yep. Abased.
Yep. Just bang, in your face, look, check it out, Chuck Light. Yeah, it's God alone. For the day of the Lord of hosts shall be upon everyone that is proud and lofty, and upon everyone that is lifted up. His spirit is as In that day I shall pour out my spirit upon all flesh, and your sons and daughters and old guys and dreams and visions and all this other stuff. Don't get too carried away with all of that stuff. Yes, it's true. But it's too awfully easy for people to interject. Oh, well, hey, look at this. We got this and this and this and this. They start bringing up all sorts of different verses, proof texting their idealistic ways to make them look all high and mighty. And
they're not even in the truth.
No, they're not.
They're not even in the truth. They're just making it look like they can know what they're talking about. So people will follow them because they like the man's praises.
Yeah.
They hate it when they don't have men's praises.
Yeah, and there it is, proud and lofty and lifted up.
Yeah.
Everyone. And upon all the cedars of Lebanon that are high and lifted up, and upon all the oaks of Bashan, upon all the high mountains, upon all the hills that are lifted up, upon every high tower and every fenced wall. All of these here, verses 13 through 15 so far, are the personalities of man. All of the thoughts, motives, etc. Denial, which is iniquity, by the way.
Yeah, it is. And he said, I never knew you. You who work iniquity. Work, meaning work.
That's
He's not saying that thoughts are not work. Thoughts are work. Who work iniquity. Iniquity are thoughts and denial. Thoughts of denial of any of the truth that Jesus says. You better watch it, people, because man, eternity is going to be right after your last breath.
Eternity is
it begins. Oh, hell no.
Verse 16, and upon all the ships of Tarshish, and upon all pleasant pictures, and the loftiness of man, verse 17, and the loftiness of man shall be bowed down, and the haughtiness of men shall be made low, and the Lord alone shall be exalted in that day. There, he's talking about eternity, judgment day. Exactly right, babe.
Thank you.
Yeah. And there's no sidestepping it. You can't pay for it like that one guy in the book of Acts. And even though he saw and believed to a certain extreme what Paul and the other apostles were doing, okay,
but he wanted to pay for it.
But he wanted to buy it. He said, how much can I, can you back that up for me? They're like, what?
They said, woe to you.
Yeah, woe to you and your money, basically. Paraphrasing terribly, but I mean,
that's what he said, basically.
All right. And the idols he shall utterly abolish. Yes. Why? Because in eternity, there ain't none of this mamby-pamby stuff. Not at all.
That's man's.
Yeah.
This is all man's stuff.
Yep. The idols they created in their own minds, as well as in the physical too. Which brings it all to be. All thoughts apart from God are sin.
Yes, they are, baby.
It's more than a fact, it's an absolute truth. How can I say such a thing? Because what he has allowed me to overcome, survive, and to thrive within his word and his ways has become a melting pot, calling for his glory. What? Oh, really? Oh, you so desire to do it. But where is your desire?
Yeah, where is your desire? Are you still in Christianity, learning all this other stuff about OSEF and God only knows what they're learning nowadays. I've been in it for 4 years now.
They've got so loose-lipped over the
Thank
stuff.
God
Like,
they got out.
even the very foundational truths that he's speaking there are lost in the wayward quagmire of man's seditious traditions, because, that's like I was going to say, like he says, choose you this day whom you will serve. Well, Lord, it's my choice. Really? Evidently so. You can tell me all sorts of different ways from Sunday, but really, I don't really care. I know the truth within me. Whatever thing is working within you, well, I'm not here to defray or defrag or put it nothing the way you so believe.
Yeah.
I'm just here to tell you, and so is my wife, that what? There is a bigger, brighter, and bolder way to know that you know that you know. Not going to whoever in their ministry or here it is. I'm just stating that there is that absolute with God.
You have to be taught by His Holy Spirit.
His entire word is true and absolute. Ain't no sugarcoating. We don't sugarcoat it. We don't water it down. We don't dilute it in any way, shape, or form. It's straight in your face. Boy, you guys literal. What? You got a problem with being literal? Then you've got a problem.
Yeah, because God is literal. He means every word He says.
We don't see His word.
He means every word He says.
We used to. We used to think, wow, man, hey, man, that creates a problem. That creates a problem. Well, we got over that. Thankfully, bless you, Jesus, we got over that.
Yeah, we got out of Christianity, people.
Found out it was
It's religion.
Yeah, we find
Get
out.
away from it.
Yeah, the issues of the Holy Spirit are the most important things a person can step up to the plate and agree with, because
Right.
you see, an issue is like a challenge. Oh, a challenge? Oh, well, hey, the challenge gets done. You got to meet a laborious, taskmaster things, and those rarely get done. If they do, they get done half fast, if at all. More times than not, it's put on the back burner and whatever, 6 irons in the fire, nothing done. Verse 19. And they shall go into the holes of the rocks and into the caves of the earth for the fear of the Lord and for the glory of His majesty, when He arises to shake terribly the earth.
When that happens, if you don't want to be His enemy when that happens, wow, you never want to be His enemy. Period.
When He arises to shake terribly the earth, that's the buzzword there. When He arises to shake terribly the earth, He's not coming to,
bring peace on earth.
No. Peace on earth, goodwill toward men. Really? Yeah, that's right. It's written. Yeah, well,
And so are many things written, but doesn't mean they're all true.
Yep. They shall go into the holes of the rocks, into the caves of the earth, for the fear of the Lord, and for the glory of His majesty. See, holes of the rocks. Here they're going to be all hiding out, for one. But for two, on the other end of the spectrum, which is what they're doing now, they shall go into the holes of the rocks and into the caves of the earth to try and discover what is the fear of the Lord. Holes of the rocks, into the caves of the earth. What's that? Science. Christian Science monitors, as well as the science of man that has infiltrated the church, that should be holy and reverent unto Christ Almighty and God Himself. But oh no, they just don't wait. They're trying to discover through the sciences, falsely so called, to discover the fear of the Lord and the glory of His majesty. Oh, how do you say that? How can you say that? That's blasphemy. Oh my God, you're just, and what? Look at what they're doing. They're talking about space exploration and sending man to Mars and the moon. What have they found? What did they find on the moon when they did? What did they find? On the moon, they found nothing but a dry, arid, barren land. It's there. But it's there for a reason. And that reason is explained simply in the Bible. To give light at night. Period.
Yeah.
That man would rarely be without light.
They want man's praises.
I know.
All of it. They aren't getting God's praises. They're proving him wrong.
Mm-hmm.
And false and liar.
Yep.
What do you?
Yep. Verse 20. In that day, a man shall cast his idols of silver and his idols of gold, which they made, each one for himself, to worship, to the moles and to the bats.
They won't care about them anymore. It'll be so scary. I mean, this will be the worst time ever in history. It'll be the very worst time, and it's even worse than we think.
But you see the idols of gold and silver, okay? That they had worshipped. They're going to be casting all those to the moles and to the bats. In the day that God rises to shake terribly the earth. Well, they've already done that anyway in man's church because of that's basically what it's come to. Right now, you look at the thing with all the games, video games and stuff like this. The kids are playing them on their iPhones and iPads and stuff like that in church. There's no one in church really paying that much attention. And for one, does the pastor really have anything really to say that means anything that's true? Yeah, no, rarely.
If they read a scripture, maybe.
Well,
but that depends on where they're reading it from. If they're a pastor or, a bishop or something, they're reading from the Catholic book, well, there you go.
Yeah, but there too.
If you're using scriptures, well, then you've got some truth.
Yeah, well, what kind of proof texting are they doing? To try and express that there's a form of godliness, but they're lacking so terrible. There is not one word of truth within them. Why? Because they're all talking about C.S. Lewis and his grandiose land of fantasy. Really? And quoting a whole bunch of other people I don't even never heard of, let alone care to know, that what they're talking about and what they're professing and quoting verbatim, they got it written down. Hey, they looked up so-and-so online, and that looks good. Boom,
Yeah,
that looks
that's
good.
how they look. Like they know what they're talking about, and yet they're fooling themselves in eternity because they are not going to be taken in to heaven. They're going to be left. Why? Because God doesn't take good. He takes perfected in Christ, which means born again and maintained. That's what I've been trying to tell people for so long.
Oh, they think, hey, let's follow the lines of pastor this or pastor that or reverend this or bishop that or whatever, and starting everything off with a joke.
They know what they're talking about. Oh, yeah, right.
Start everything off with a joke. It's like, oh, yeah, really? Are you serious? Yeah, this one guy I saw, he will remain nameless because it was ridiculous what he said. But I mean, he's got a joke, and it's written down on paper, and he can't even read it right. Me, I'm a stand-up comedian. Okay, stand up and sit down and comment. Okay, I know how to tell a joke. Trust me, I know how to tell a joke. But this guy's sitting there just reading it, and he's slurring his words and stammering over, and I'm like, dude, stop it. You're boring me to pieces.
That's what they're trying to do. Keep man's praises going.
I know. And what
all they're doing.
Make a joke out of God.
Yeah, no kidding.
Start off with a joke.
That's true.
Yeah. Are you still laughing at the end of the sermon? Alleged sermon. Are you still laughing? I mean, if it was that funny, you would have still been laughing at the end of the person's monologue, basically. And that's all it is anymore. As a TV, it's just TV and telemarketing evangelism is they created their own God out of television. Has become their God. That's their message. That's their chariot of delivery method and mode of their message. And what message? Give me a break. Okay. Verse 21. To go into the clefts of the rocks and into the tops of the ragged rocks. For the fear of the Lord and for the glory of his majesty, when he arises to shake terribly the earth, there it is again. But yet, here we're still looking at science. Clefts of the rocks and tops of the ragged rocks. Yeah, it's all science. We're looking to dinosaurs. Give me a break. Oh, guys. It's terrible.
Man's tradition.
Yeah. And it's gotten even worse because they
No, really. I mean, this is all it is. It's man's tradition, science and traditions of men. That's what I meant.
Yep.
Traditions of men are science and churches. They're teaching the doctrines, the holidays taught. I mean, everything. They have a thing for everything.
I know.
They have a line for everything out there they want us to learn.
Yeah, and videos and jumbotrons, and they turned it into karaoke church. Let's all sing along, watch basketball, blah 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 blah. Watch
to keep man's praises.
Sing along with the bouncing the ball.
You know what Jeremiah says?
Yeah. Well, he says it right here. Yeah, he says it right here in verse 22. Cease you from man.
That's right.
Whose breath is in his nostrils. For wherein is he to be accounted of?
And he calls them cursed. Thus says the Lord in Jeremiah.
Yep.
He said, cursed is any man who relies on man and depends on man, trusts in man, leans on man for their strength, for their God, for their ability to survive in life, their trust.
So that's why he says there in verse 22, cease you from man.
Yep.
You know?
I'm going to put that afterwards to Jeremiah.
Yep. And that, beloved children of the living God, peace of Jesus with you all. And that's the end of chapter 2 of Isaiah.